guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm here at Loki Kia in Palm Harbor, Florida, and guess what? I have that one small SUV that's turning a lot of people's heads. This is it. This is a 2022 Kia Seltos. This particular one is gonna be that top trim, the SX. But before we get into this Neptune blue small Kia, let's talk about what's going on here. Kia. They're really doing the business in the auto industry with changing people's perception about their brand. You go back to the early 1990s, you had your choice, Sophia or Sportage, and that was it. Fast forward to 2022, Kia has a lineup, really something for everybody. And for somebody who wants that SUV experience but maybe doesn't need the full size, that's where the Seltos comes into play. So this is gonna go up against vehicles like the Honda HR-V, the Toyota CHR, but one vehicle that I really wanna compare it to is gonna be the Mazda CX-30 Turbo. When you look at what Mazda's doing, especially with their finishes on the interior, is Kia the way to go to get that better style on the outside and on the inside, and maybe even better performance at the end of the day? So let's go ahead, let's dive into this Neptune blue, new for 2022, Seltos SX, and find out which way you should go, the Seltos or the CX-30 Turbo. Let's go dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the style. Very unique to the brand, and if you like the Telluride, if you like the Sorento, you're gonna find a lot of that same style in the smaller Seltos. Now at the front of the business, you're gonna get full LED lighting. That comes standard no matter what trim you go with, whether it's your base LX or this top SX, you're gonna get full LED lighting. I like the way it's got this decorative silver trim. Instead of just a bunch of gloss black, that silver gives it a nice finish. You even have, as we drop down, your turn signal is gonna be LED lighting. And then on top of that, one thing a lot of brands are not doing much anymore, you're even getting LED fog lamps on both corners. Nice style to the bodywork, especially with the Neptune blue. And then as we slide across that tiger nose grille, like we're talking about, branding. Kia has a lot of different style that's part of their brand. Tiger nose grille is one of it. What I like about this grille is how the LED daytime running lamps run into the center. There's that tiger nose shape. You do have some gloss black, some flat black, but the great news is top and in the middle fully functional. And then what they did to try to clean up that underside of the front, look at how they kind of tweaked everything, very nice and angled on our all-wheel drive model. That way, you're gonna park it, don't have to worry about hitting a parking block. And if you're doing a little bit of off-roading, you're not gonna have to worry about scratching all this beautiful body work up. But really has a unique style that you know that it's part of this brand known as Kia. Now, when you get up onto the hood, you'll see the updated, upgraded badging. Really brings it into 21st century alignment. And then the hood is a clean design. A little bit of a raised section on both sides, and then everything's gonna curve right towards the A-pillars. Speaking about curves, let's come around the curve and check out wheel and tire. So on this Seltos, compared to the CX-30, you're gonna get a very similar wheel size. So this is an 18-inch wheel. I love the gunmetal metallic gray, the machined aluminum. There's your Kia badge, looking great with a little bit of red trim to make it pop. Fully ventilated rotors. You can get, just like the CX-30, front wheel drive standard. This one, like we said, has the all-wheel drive. One thing that this definitely does not look as zonk-filled is gonna be the fender openings. A little bit of flat black, but as you know on the CX-30, that flat black trim goes all the way almost up to the hood. So no zonks on the Seltos, definitely still zonking that CX-30, but really has a nice balance. Even the way that they run the headlight housing into the fender, you can see that attention to detail. And that's something that not only Kia does well, but it works for the competition with Mazda, but really showing that nice balance. Now, as we come down the side, you are gonna get that all-wheel drive badge. It's tasteful, it's not too gaudy, nice flat silver. We're gonna have color matched on the mirror caps, slim and trim with your LED turn signals. And what's wonderful is that the side proportion, this Seltos actually is a little bit larger than your CX-30, even though they're in the same class, that subcompact SUV class. I like the nice flat roof. You got your silver and black roof rails, get your crossbars, even the nice bright shiny metal work along the bottom, just enough to really give it element of style and design, the bright silver on your door handles, and then you'll notice the mixture of the combo between the flat black and the gloss black. This is another area where I think the Seltos looks better than the CX-30 because the CX-30 is just all flat black cladding. This, at least they give you a little bit of gloss black to kind of brighten things up a little bit. Working our way towards the rear, that blacked out A-pillar looks fantastic, gives it a nice, fresh, clean look. And then another styling component that I like is this right here. Look at the way they took the bright, shiny metalwork and flared it out, giving it that floating roof design, a little bit of gloss black, and then as we come around towards the tail, you're gonna get a low roof spoiler, color match shark fin antenna. You do have a wiper, but we're not gonna zonk it. At this price point, we're gonna leave it alone because they did such a great job on your LED lighting here. That silver trim with the Kia badge looking really clean. Seltos, and then dropping it like it's hot. I like the way they finished off the rear bumper, except on the CX-30, you do have functional exhaust. Here, you get these fake vent exhaust looking things on both sides. We're definitely gonna have to double zonk that. That's zonk squared, which is actually worse than a double zonk. But I do like the silver on the bottom portion, kind of blends in nicely with what's up front. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our Seltos. All right guys, we got the hood popped open. You do have a prop rod. Not gonna zonk it because the Mazda CX-30 has a prop rod as well. And what's interesting is that the standard engine on both vehicles is a naturally aspirated engine. But like I said, I wanted to compare it to turbocharged power because when you go SX trim, that's what we have. So underneath the hood, tasteful engine cover. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, how does this stack up against the Mazda CX-30? So what you're looking at is a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine, 175 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque, and it is mated to a 7-speed DCT transmission. Now, if you compare this to the CX-30 turbo, that's a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine with 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque, but it is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what about performance on this Seltos? 0 to 60 in a quick 6.6 seconds. Quarter mile is going to go by at 15.3 seconds. Top speed 125 miles an hour. MPGs 25 in the city, 30 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs around 3,271 pounds. So if you're going to have a drag race with a Mazda CX-30 turbo, you are going to lose that race simply because you have a smaller engine and less horsepower. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see where Kia brings the magic compared to Mazda. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Kia Seltos SX Turbo with the all-wheel drive. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, how much is this Seltos? I've been looking at your CX-30 Turbo reviews. I'm very curious about this one. I like the exterior, but what's the price? Well, here you go. MSRP for the way that this one is optioned is right around $29,000. That's still a few thousand less than a CX-30 Turbo, but remember, Mazda brings it big when it comes to the interiors. Let's see how this one stacks up to the door panels. Now, the first zonk is there is quite a bit of hard plastic, not only on the top of the door panel, but you'll see in other places as well. But I do like the gloss black with the nice silver trim, the way they did that speaker grill cover up top and down below with the Bose sound system. We got that off-white, creamy kind of white material on the armrest, which is soft touch. The good news is there's no gloss black around the switchgear where your window button is and also your door locks. And then the door pocket is a pretty decent size, 4 Pop-Tarts and a small cardboard container of chocolate milk to wash it down. Now, when you go from the door panel to the dash, the hard plastic continues. When you get into a CX-30 Mazda, you can see the differences in the materials. They did a great job here in the center, being soft and having the stitching, but where the Seltos blows the CX-30 out of the water is going to be this infotainment system. 10.25-inch screen. So if you're comparing it to the Mazda, this is larger. The Mazda has an 8.8-inch screen, and remember, the Mazda screen, you could touch it, but it doesn't do anything. Our screen in the Seltos, you hit the home button, we got navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, nice swipe features with getting through all the setup. They even have a sound mood lamp. So you click on this, you can actually adjust the different colors of all the mood lighting. I love the way they name these: Orange Delight, Golden Insight. You can even do color themes. So you can have party time, traveling. There's my favorite, romance, because I'm a lover, not a fighter. But real easy to get through. And then of course, the climate controls, you can access all that information. And then probably one of my favorite things that they put on these Kias are the sounds of nature. So not a lot of brands doing stuff like this. You got your calm sea waves, your open air cafe, maybe a nice little rainy day. And what's wonderful is you hit the stop button and you can just pause it for a while if it's making you too calm and too relaxed. Let me show you reverse. Throw it into reverse. There's your backup camera. Pretty good size. I would like a little bit better resolution. That's another area where the Mazda is just a little bit better, is camera resolution, but definitely the Seltos takes the cake when it comes to not only the infotainment, but also all the technology that comes with it. You got your start stop button. Love the way they just flow the silver into the vents. We do have standard AC controls, not dual climate. So another thing to think about. I'm gonna move the shifter out of the way because look at this. Nice smart ledge, not for your Twinkies, that's to charge your phone. We got a Twinkie tray down here, 3 Twinkies, plus you have a 12 volt and 2 USB A's. So they got you covered there. We have a drive mode selector knob, which I'll show you more of that on the business side. And then this is gonna control your 7-speed DCT transmission, dual clutch transmission. You can lock the center diff of the all-wheel drive system, heated seats, and you got hill descent control. So that's another nice setup. 2 cup holders. There's more of that hard plastic, but I love the key fob with the new badging. Nice silver buttons on the side. Very high upright armrest, which is perfect for my arms. Open it up. You could easily put, I would say, 12 golf balls that you had signed by Tiger Woods. And then that way you don't have to carry your balls around with you everywhere you go. And then the seats, just like the armrest, that nice off-white color. Love the bolstering, the stitching, manual adjustment for the passenger. I have 8-way electric adjustment for the driver. I think the biggest thing that confuses me is that even in the SX trim, which is fully loaded, no sunroof. So that to me is a zonk. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind this beautiful leather wrapped steering wheel in our Kia Seltos. All right guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your electric seat settings that are easy to get to. Even that lower lumbar feels good. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom in this subcompact SUV. And then they did a bang up job with the steering wheel. Nice leather wrapped, flat bottom, just a little bit of gloss black. Tasteful on the horn button. It is manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then the dash is a little bit of a combo deal of everything. So you're gonna have a nice large digital display in the center, which you could scroll through a plethora of information. And then like I pointed out, you got your modes. So we have smart when you wanna increase your IQ, sport when you're feeling a little bit sporty, a little bit extra race car-esque. And then of course normal, but that's probably the mode that you don't want to use because who really wants to be normal? We're going to leave it in sport. You get a little bit of red line. It would be nice if the dash changed a little bit more, but I do like the analog gauges, tach and speedometer. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the back seat and see how your passengers are going to feel about this Seltos. All right guys, back seat time, and I'm telling you, when it comes to rear interior space for those rear passengers, that's where the Seltos once again just drop kicks the Mazda CX-30 into the next end zone. I feel cool as a cucumber, plenty of headroom in here. Backs of the seats is a little different story. There is plastic, which is great for parents because I know your kids are gonna kick the back seat because you're not taking them to Chuck E. Cheese. But the bad news is, the zonk is that there's no pocket on the driver's side. So that to me is a little bit of a question mark, but you do have rear AC vents. You have a USB-A and a spot for some atomic fireballs. I have my own pocket here, so I'm special. This is where you let your special child. You know how you might have more than one kid, and you tell them all that you love them the same, but you still have that favorite. Let them sit here, and they get the pocket. The one that you don't really love that much, let them sit over there. But what you do get is a nice armrest. It's almost Charmin soft. I would say more like Scott single ply, which is still good. It's better than using your hand. but not soft like Charmin. But you got the two cup holders. Love the creamy style material. I can't stop laughing because we're doing some funny stuff here on Raiti's Rides. But why don't we go ahead, let's see how the Seltos stacks up to the CX-30 in the cargo area of this vehicle. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. Now, believe it or not, even though they're both subcompacts, this Seltos is a little larger than the CX-30, but you hit the button, you lift it up, and then you're gonna be greeted to that space. Now, how much space do you have? With the seats up, you're looking at 26 cubic feet of space. You fold the seats down, that's actually gonna be 62 cubic feet of space. You do have a nice little notch here where you can stand up a box of Twinkies. The one zonk that I do have, it's a pain in the butt to put the seats down. You actually have to reach over and then push on both sides. So you're gonna reach over and push. But the great news is, look at how nice and flat that is. And then if you're wondering, well, Joe, is there a spare? Well, let's go ahead and find out. 1, 2, 3, look at that. You got not only get a spare, but plenty of room. You could actually fill this up with Hostess cupcakes. This whole back area, maybe some ding-dongs. But you know what? It's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in our turbocharged all-wheel drive Seltos. All right, guys, we're inside this 2022 Kia Seltos SX with all-wheel drive. And really what's great about it is the visibility, the comfort, and of course the technology. Very easy to get to that 10.25-inch infotainment system screen. Visibility out the back is great. If you want more power, if that's what you're all about, then you're gonna wanna go with the CX-30 Turbo. But let me do a little bit of on throttle while we're here. We're in sport mode. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. What's cool is that when you're in sport mode, you actually get shift lights, which is very fascinating in that large 7-inch digital display. And it's also gonna, of course, adjust the throttle sensitivity and steering sensitivity of the vehicle to give it a sportier feel. But what I like about the Seltos is just the extra room you get going this way over one of the competitors, because it's large. Even though it's on the same chassis as the Kona, it's actually a little larger than the Kona, which is surprising. So something to think about. Brakes obviously great, and we got that all-wheel drive that's going to keep you planted no matter what, and that really makes driving the vehicle a lot more confidence inspiring when you can get the power to the ground effectively. But pulling out here, on throttle, here we go. Like I said, smooth shifts, really nicely done when the transmission. And I think that's the one spot that I know when it comes to the Mazdas, they're still running the 6-speed automatic, which is still a great transmission. It's just when it comes to fuel economy and dropping the revs, you're actually gonna have a little bit better experience with this Seltos because of it being a 7-speed compared to a 6-speed. But driving down the road, very, very smooth. I'm shocked it does not have a sunroof. That really, to me, is something that's, at this price point, needs to be here. With the 18-inch wheels and tires, you're not getting a ton of road noise, which is nice. I like that wonderful shelf for the cell phone charging. And just very, very smooth and compliant. And if you like the larger vehicles, like I said, the Sorento and the Telluride, you're getting a lot of that same magic wrapped into this smaller Seltos. All right, guys, let's go on throttle one more time. On throttle, here we go. 7-speed drops down and we are off. Now, if you want to shift manually through the 7-speed DCT, you have to do it with the shifter. There's no paddles on the back of the steering wheel. And yes, the Seltos is quick, but the Mazda CX-30 is a little bit quicker, about a second faster 0 to 60 compared to this Kia Seltos. But it's a give and a take kind of thing, because there's certain things, especially infotainment screen wise, where the Seltos does come out on top compared to the Mazda. All right, let's get out onto the highway here and see how the Seltos behaves. Very easy to drive no matter what the traffic level is, which is awesome. And it's easy to keep in your lane. It's really a good size overall. And I know in my area, these are really, really popular because of how many you see. And remember, other competition would be like the Chevy Trailblazer, the Bronco Sport, Honda HR-V, Toyota CHR, even the Hyundai Kona, which you would have to be crazy to go Kona over the Seltos just because of how much nicer it is on the interior. But as you can see, cruising down the highway feels good, nice and smooth. But hopefully this gave you a great overall feel of what the Seltos SX with all-wheel drive brings to the table. We're gonna get back to Loki Kia and wrap this one up, so I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a day here at Loki Kia. I definitely gotta thank Danny, Robert, and the rest of the team getting us this 2022 Neptune Blue Seltos SX all-wheel drive. Let me know what you think. Are you gonna go CX-30? Are you gonna go Seltos? I'm dying to see which way you would go in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. If you wanna help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click that link in the description. Get yourself some Raiti's Rides merch. Gotta give it up to the queen behind the lens there. She's wearing her crown. She's gonna win Videographer of the Year on YouTube for 2022. I believe it because she is the best in the biz. Show Lori some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.